Hey everyone! This holiday season, a simple choice of words can help you remove the guilt and the shame and the fear of breaking your diet. When you have binary thinking, you believe things are typically black and white. And in the diet world, I'm referring to you're either on a diet, off a diet, good food, bad food, you're good, you're bad based on what you're eating. And we strive for perfectionism and feel like failures when we can't keep the unsustainable goal of eating perfectly all the time. We often plan for cheat meals or cheat days, especially during the holiday season, to ease our guilt. And what we discover is that because we've given ourselves false permission, the guilt and the shame creep back in. This holiday season, if you're willing, use the word I prefer instead of I don't, I can't, or I won't. It's about inviting flexibility into your life. And when I work with my clients who struggle with perfectionism, I talk about striving for the C or living in the gray versus the black and white. Personally, I have had my own challenges with food rules and I can or I can't, and very little room or no room for flexibility. I could never imagine letting go of all of those rules. And what I've discovered through the practice of intuitive eating and inviting gray into my world is that it has actually created a space filled with sunshine, joy, and freedom. I was a very strict pescatarian / vegetarian for many, many years, and rarely would I break my diet. If I did have a bite of something, I was filled with guilt and shame because all of a sudden I wasn't perfect. I was no longer, how could I be a vegetarian or a pescatarian if I ate something that wasn't part of that paradigm? And what I discovered was the freedom of the word I prefer. And what it helps you do is to get rid of that feeling of failure. You may prefer something, so especially going into the holiday season, you may prefer to not eat sweets or whatever it is your nemesis. But that's different than saying, I don't, I can't, or I won't. Because chances are you will. And when you say you prefer, it removes that guilt and the shame, and you haven't broken any rules or diets in this process. An example I'd like to give you on how prefer has changed my life along with intuitive eating and mindful eating is a few weeks ago was my partner's birthday, and he's a meat guy through and through. And I always say, well, I don't typically cook a lot of meat because it's not my preference. And I will on occasion. And his favorite food is pulled pork. And I've always said, well, I don't cook it. I don't know how. I'm a former caterer. I can cook anything. I did my research, found what I thought was going to be a perfect recipe, took the day off from work and cooked all of his favorite foods, including this pulled pork. Halfway through the day, I started to think about what I was going to eat. And in the back of my mind, I knew that there was food that I could quickly prepare so that I could eat and enjoy as well. And the house smelled amazing. And I thought to myself, you don't have any food rules. What's stopping you from tasting this or enjoying it? And I'm standing in the kitchen by myself and I figured, okay, it's time to taste it. And it was delicious. It was amazing. And I gave myself permission because I prefer to eat one way and I can still enjoy and eat anything, even if it's not within those old rules, because those old rules don't exist anymore. And at 7:00 that night, when my daughter came home and her boyfriend was there and a close friend and her husband came over, we sat and enjoyed. And of course, the commentary came up of, you're eating that. And I said, yes, I am eating it and I'm going to enjoy it. And on most days, I do prefer fish, but today I prefer to eat what everybody else is eating and be part of this space to enjoy the connection, the community, and the delicious food. So as you go through the holiday season, take a look at your food rules and think about using the word prefer to give yourself some space and grace. And think about how you can start to turn the year 2022 into the year that you undiet. Happy holidays.